joined by Dartford boss Steve King. Steve, what's your reaction to the league being voided?
Oof, how long have we got?
Say hello quickly, Steve.
Wow.
I'll make sure it's working.
Hello.
Right, there we go.
Obviously, it started some time back, and with the not playing and wanting to play, and clubs not wanting to play, etc., etc., and everybody sort of made their stance on it that some could afford to play, some couldn't. And we always said all along, if the teams that wanted to play, we have to support the ones that don't want to play. As in, okay, you don't play, should be no punishment to those guys or teams. And if we want to play, just back us and say, yeah, we have no problem with them playing. We got to numbers where we sort of had 18 on a letter to say that they wanted to play, and then that sort of, as the longer it went on, 3 or 4 clubs pulled out of that, and we were sort of down to 15, and then some of us were coming in. So because the process was so long, I think individuals were getting fed up with what was going on. They couldn't make a decision. I felt all along that I kind of knew quite a lot what was going on, more than probably most. And I kind of knew that when the proposal was put together pretty quickly by sort of 17 clubs, as in on a Zoom call from the north and south, have never met each other before. And I wasn't on those meetings, but obviously knew what was happening on those meetings. And I think, everybody was throwing things about, and, there was a few little rows here and there, and somebody wanted this, somebody wanted that. It wasn't good for them, it was good for them, which you're going to get. But the biggest thing, we never got led by the league any way, shape or form. Well, if you're an organisation and you're an organisation that's just off the Football League, you got to show some leadership qualities. There was none. It was almost like throw 17 strangers into a room. Everybody or a number of teams would want different things, obviously. No one was just going to say the 17 teams, yeah, we'll do that, and we all agreed. Things were kicked down the road, and, someone wanted this, someone wanted that. And in the end, the clubs come to a sort of an agreement where they felt it was kind of fair. And if you're going to ask teams to carry on, give them a fair chance of trying to succeed. But when I kind of heard what those proposals were a long time ago, then I kind of found out very quickly that they were never, ever going to get through. They were totally against the fact that a team was at the bottom of the league. You give them the points that they haven't got, and teams that are in those top 7, 8, 9, 10 places lose points that they've actually got, because they were going points per game on a roughly over the two leagues put together on 15 games. So that was never going to stand, and I could see that, and I actually knew that. But what the question then lies is, what are you offering us? You should be there guiding us. Look, have another meeting with us, have a Zoom meeting, say, look, you've put a proposal together. It sounds quite good on principle, but I think you should change this. I think you should try and change that. Why is this never going to get through? They would never, ever promote a team that was bottom of the league when it finished, and give them an opportunity to get promoted into the league above. It just wouldn't happen. It would make a mockery of the league. So, but we as a group of individuals, as clubs, just got together, and they just threw that out as the opening gambit. So, yeah, we've got that. Can you guide us now? What can we do? What's going to happen? What's going to work? Nothing. They came on one Zoom call for 10 minutes and said, look, it's up to you guys. Can you rally round? Can you speak to clubs? Can you see what other clubs want to join in? Can you see what other clubs have got any, want to say no, they don't want to do it? Can you do everything? Yeah. And they just sat back. So it was almost like someone threw a pebble in the water, and the ripples just went like that. And there was in a row in, then it was sorted out. That club wanted to play, then they didn't want to play. What should have happened as an organisation? They should have just gone, bang, this is what's going to happen. This is the option. There's this option, or there's this option. We go with the majority on whatever option is, because people had their own agendas why they wanted to stay in the competition. Some might have felt it was a way to financially help themselves get back on the feet, if they were possible, if you could get the loan. Loans were sort of only going to happen to clubs that were still going to stay in the competition. So everybody had different agendas, but I'd say 80-90% of them were, to try and get promoted.
Yeah.
There's some very, very good teams in there, good clubs, well-run clubs. And we just felt like we were it was another week goes by, then another week, and we still didn't know what was going on. Then there was going to be a meeting on the Monday, then the Tuesday, then the Wednesday, then it came on the Friday. And then when it came out that we weren't going to continue, it wasn't even told to the clubs individually. Now, these clubs worked ever so hard, our chairman, everybody worked so hard on trying to get a sporting resolution, because they always led us to believe that there's going to be a sporting resolution, and they wanted a sporting resolution, but they 100% didn't want a sporting resolution. They didn't. Why? As they would have sat down with us time and time again and said, look, we don't think this bit's going to get through the committee. We think this possibly will, but this won't. Take it back to your clubs, see if you can agree on stuff, and then we'll go from there. But it didn't. They had the meeting on the Friday, put our proposal to the league, and it got to the Alliance Committee, and it got knocked back. So, and they knew it was already going to get knocked back. So I don't even know why they put that proposal. They got what they wanted. And for me, the league above, no relegation, stinks, absolutely stinks. And when you consider all the chairmen that are on that committee, that are on the conference board, that are chairman of clubs within the National League, the Premier Division, you can see why it's happened. But for me, it should always be promotion, relegation, and they're going to have promotion. I said in my, I've done a non-league paper article 6 weeks ago saying that there will be a way that I know that they're going to want the North and South to stop. I knew it then, and I said they will 100% find a way of the National League playing on, and they've done it. Whether that's through loans or whatever way they've done it. You had the distribution of money. I can't name names, but trust me, I know some very good people in the league above and some owners in the league above. And I know certain budgets were like 55 grand a month, and they were getting 95 grand a month. So I know that factual. It's not just I'm picking a number out of the air. I knew it factual. So when you consider all the teams in the league above getting 270, 80, 90,000, and they only had half of that on their budget, what happened to the rest? So they were looked after. We our division, just the whole thing, the money wasn't distributed right, and it was a farce. It was an absolute farce. And there's good football people out there and have worked their socks off to do what they've done, to try, and they want to get promoted. Some very, very good teams in the North and South that wanted to get promoted with a lot of sacrifice. And to just be told after sitting and waiting 4 or 5 weeks, sorry, null and void, it's not, I can't remember the wording they use, but it's not sporting integrity, I think they keep using. Well, where's the integrity of the league above not having a relegation? There is no integrity. One team's just stopped playing, which, that's what they wanted to go do that. They financially couldn't do it. So they'll be dealt with inwardly by the conference. They may stay up, they may not. But that if they got relegated, that'd be 2 teams relegated out of that division. So they'd be running off at 21 sides, which they're used to running off at 24 sides. So I still can't understand why there couldn't have been a competition with 2 promotions.
Yeah, and this was also another big problem. But what's your thoughts on how the loan situation was handled as a whole? I know you've loosely spoken about it already.
I think the loan situation was a disgrace. 1 minute we were going to get grants, then it was no grants, then it was loans, and you can all apply for loans and you more or less get the loan. Then you can't take the loan because it's against their constitution. It's illegal to take a loan because of their competition rules. We get round that. How are we getting around that? We just say, well, when you go for the loan, you'll just let us know that you've gone for a loan. Then you'll notice that the amount of teams that have gone for the loans, hardly anybody got it in our division. And there may be 1 or 2 in the North, maybe. I know of 1. But all the loans got who applied. I'm not saying every National League side got their loans, because I know a couple that got turned down personally. But that is where a lot of your loans have gone. So it just smacks of what it was all contrived, in my opinion. It was all set up all the way through for the league above to carry on. And like I say, they financially gained out of the 290 grand. They got all of them, every club, 280, something like that. And they've now got loans as well to continue.
So how from sort of the loan and all that sort of stuff, how does that make you feel towards the National League at the moment? How do you think they've handled the whole situation?
Like soap opera. No, it's scandalous what they've done, and the way they've done it, the way they've conducted themselves. And I don't get too involved with the meetings or anything like that, because I'm just a manager, and Steve Irving that deals with those sorts of things. But obviously I've been in it a long time. I know a lot of people, my ears to the ground properly, so I kind of know a lot of what's going on before it happens. But I just think the way they've handled it is just no class, absolutely zero class. And to think that we got told on a Friday by somebody else rather than the organisation that you're under their umbrella, that leaked out everywhere before we even got told. So I mean, that just shows. I think there's going to be radical changes, an overhaul in the conference. It has to be. There has to be. You can't run an organisation like this. It's just football is taken really seriously at our level, and the people involved in it, they need to change.
Yeah, and let's kind of go back to Dartford now a bit. How well do you think the first half of the season went?
From a football point of view, I think. Listen, the league's got stopped, and whatever way you look at it, the league got stopped with us second in the division. You can say there's a team got underneath, got a game in hand, they've got 2 games there. They've all got to play each other. So, if you'd have said to me at the start of the season, if you say to me now, Stephen, season 21-22, if after almost half the season you'd be second, third in the league, would you take that right now? 100% I'll take that right now. Some good sides in the division. You don't have a divine right to win any league. All I ever stated is that we would be up there challenging for that. And that's exactly what we've done in the first half of the season. Without, I must say, and I'm an honest person, without reaching the levels of performances that I know we were capable of, or even sometimes we didn't, and we didn't reach the levels that we had last year either. But I think there's a lot to do with, I honestly do, that the boys have been magnificent to get and continue the work and be where they are in the division. But fans, it's just, without the fans, it's soulless. It's trying to motivate is a very difficult job with no one in the ground. My players hear me at the best of times, but they can double hear me now with no fans in the ground. Yeah, with no fans in the ground. So to do what they've done, the hats off to that, for the group of players to keep going and keep going. Level of performances, like I say, not reaching the highs of what we did, but like I said, to have been where we were majority top of that division for the majority of the season, and to be at stop when we're in second place, I think you've got to say, after what happened last year, they've dusted themselves down, come back, and they've had a right go, and we were in a good position. Like I said, if this happens next year, and we're in this sort of position, I'll be over the moon, because that's all you can ask for, is to be in and around it, chasing it, have a chance, and that's what we've done.
Yeah, so looking forward with Dartford now, what sort of changes will you be looking to make to the squad now, looking forward to next season?
I think we need a number of changes. I will freshen it quite a lot, if I'm honest. I think we've got some fantastic players. It didn't click in certain areas. There's no hiding that. There's no denying that fact. I'm always been a facts and stats man. We didn't really have. We had good players up front, but we didn't have the goal scorer. We signed players that, individually very, very good players, and should have done scored more goals than what they did do. That's a contribution of the whole team, not just their fault. Service, crosses into the box, etc., etc. But when you consider other teams in the divisions, like I can say Dorking, Jason Pryor scoring the 15 goals, even Jake Robinson at Billericay scoring the 11 goals, and Hungerford, Ryan Seeger scoring you so many goals. You need that. You need that goal scorer. We had it last year, the year before, with Elliot Romain and Darren McQueen. 40 goals between them, give or take. And there's every suggestion that Elliot had another year. He didn't hit that form. Again, I don't. He won't feel to want to try. It just didn't work this year. As in putting the ball in the back of the net. We scored a lot of goals all around the pitch, which was a good thing. But we just didn't find the net with the players that we had up front, no matter what combinations we tried. So I definitely will be strengthening in that area. It's important. I think we got very, very good players, and we'll see what happens in the coming weeks when we sit down and have discussions.
Yeah, and do you think there'll be a possibility of Dartford getting to play in that Kent Senior Cup final?
I hope so. I've spoke to our secretary Peter, and Peter's put the word out to them. I know the Kent were looking to play that game. Obviously, there's a semi-final to be played, Whitstable and Gillingham. But what a final it could be. No disrespect to Whitstable, if it was Gillingham and Dartford, fans back in May, end of May, cup final at Princes Park would be. I think you would get 2,000 or 3,000 in there, no question about that. First game back after a year. Lovely weather on a Saturday. I think it could be a very, very special day. That could be.
It sounds good just talking about it, to be quite honest. Looking forward to that. So finally, Steve, what are the plans going forward? Looking forward towards sort of next year, next season.
Well, we've certainly got a lot of time off now. So I just gather my thoughts of what's gone on. Sit down and discuss a few things where I feel I need to make the changes, and then obviously get my head down and start to do my bits of talking to players, etc., etc. So we'll be having a go again next year, as we always will. All the time I'm at Dartford, we will definitely be challenging for honours. But there's some good teams, some really, really good teams, well managed teams. And it's a difficult league. Everyone tell you it's a difficult league to get out of. And there's some very, very good players in there. So, I'll go away and assess where we need changing, and do those changes, and then we go from there.